Buddy, Bud Brown family here. Bud Brown.
Tammy.
Gloria.
Okay. So we're gonna do this video just to bring everybody up to date. It's been a long time, several weeks since we did a video. But what happened?
What was that joke?
Yeah, I thought it was a big boy.
He was, I'm sure. Okay, now I'm ready.
Take two. Buddy, Bud Brown family here. Bud Brown.
Tammy.
Gloria.
Little Bird told me that the live streams is not as much fun as video, so your wish is my command, as I say to her. Main things at the front of our mind is her health, Gloria's health. Well, her main problems when we got here, or she's had them for a long time. She's had this limp. She's had a bad knee for many years. And if you've seen my videos, you've seen that she has this limp in her left leg because of the pain. And so little by little, we're getting that taken care of. She just had did she have an x-ray, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she had x-rays, and we're going to find out what the result is, and then we'll see. And now she is open to, because the pain's been so bad, she's open to having that fixed and having to go to rehab for a little while. Because, once you suffer so much pain, then whatever it takes to get rid of it. So anyway, that's that. Then we had gone to the doctor a few times about her blood pressure and kidneys. So if you've watched my last video, we went to the hospital, and they said that she had congestive heart failure, and her kidneys were functioning about 34 to 36%. And so they had recommended we see specialists on that, cardiologist and kidney nephrologist, the kidney. And also she had some pretty bad rash, and they suggested we see a dermatologist. So that's where we stand right now. Now, we just went to the cardiologist last week. Maybe you can fill everybody in on what he said and what's going on with that.
So long story short, she's has congestive heart failure, and he wanted to adjust her medications. He was saying there's 4 to 5 medications that a person who has congestive heart failure should be on. So when she came in, when we went for the visit, her blood pressure was really high. Me and my basic knowledge decided or assumed that it was due to her knee pain. And so being in pain typically means that you're going to have a higher blood pressure. So at that point, even though I had suggested that it's likely due to her pain, he says, oh, it's too high. We need to bring it down. So let's add 2 more new heart medications. One to make the heart stronger, and one to make the heart stronger, and then the other one to dilate the vessels a little bit more and kind of just help relax the heart. So that's what he did. He ordered those 2 things, and then he ordered another echocardiogram, which just kind of gives a better picture of what the heart's doing, and then an ultrasound, and then also a chemical stress test versus what they call an angiogram. They go in there and kind of look at it a little bit. The stress test, the chemical stress test, basically they give her like an IV, and it won't affect her kidneys. And so that's why he opted to do that versus an angiogram. because angiogram is risk of bleeding, risk of increase in the blood pressure, basically worst case scenario. So that's where we're at.
One thing that I learned in all this was that the connection between the heart and the kidneys, they're like tandem. You know, if you have a bad heart, then it affects your kidneys, and if you have bad kidneys, then it affects your heart. So, and I read that what the main causes of kidney failure and heart failure, heart disease, is diabetes and high blood pressure. And she has both, and those that live in the Philippines know that diabetes is rampant in the Philippines, and because a lot of the diet, mostly a lot of rice and of course fish, but what I also wanted to tell you and share so that you could learn the way I did. Now, this may be, as I've said in a lot of my videos, this may be common knowledge to so many people, but it's something that I learned, and hopefully, if you didn't know this, then I'm going to share it with you. Gloria and I were down, and the kids made us a room, and it's her sewing room and my office. And so Gloria had just taken these medications that the cardiologist had given her. She was sewing, and she said, "My head hurts." I said, "Where's it hurt?" "It just hurts all over." And then I noticed that she started like staring out, in the distance. And I said, "Honey, you all right?" She got up from her sewing machine, went over to the chair. She sat there. I noticed her cheek was like quivering. So I'm saying, "Honey, are you all right?" A couple of seconds later, her head goes back. Her mouth opens up. "Oh, honey, are you okay? Are you okay?" "No." So first thing I do, "Tammy, mom's passed out." Tammy comes flying down the hill there, gets into corpsman mode, says, "Okay, put her on the floor, put her feet up." So we had her lay on her back and put her feet up on the chair. And she said, "This will allow the blood to come back down to the head." I don't know if I'm explaining it right.
Yes, essentially. So raise the feet so that way the blood comes back to the heart, which goes back to the brain. So her blood pressure, essentially, I think what had happened was that it was really high, and then this medication, which was a side effect, dropped it down really low. And that sudden drop is what caused her to have lack of oxygen to her brain. And because she was sitting down, and her circulation's not well, went down to her feet. So most of us military people know, and you've heard, never lock your knees, and that's why, because if you lock your knees, blood flow stops, and then you just kind of pass out. So that's essentially what happened, was that mom's blood pressure dropped so rapidly that she couldn't equalize, and so that was.
I just had a flashback when I was a young man, and I went with this group called Imale, and I had to do a little speech, and it was like in a retreat, and I was standing uphill, facing uphill, and of course that locked my knees. And next thing I knew, I passed out. And so when you said locking your knees, that just reminded me of that.
Yeah.
So another interesting thing, Tammy, I'm wondering, what is she going to do? I felt like going to slap. Come on, get out. Come out of it or something, and tell her the technique that you used.
So mom wasn't responding. I did what's called like a sternal rub. I'm really just a basic medical. But what they taught us is do a sternal rub, which is essentially taking your hand and rubbing the sternum, because if you do that on yourself, you'll be, "Oh, that doesn't feel good." So any kind of reaction is a good reaction in a sense. So I gave her just a little one. She was not responding. Then I gave her a bigger one. She still wasn't responding. And one of the things that they taught us, because I work with Marines, is kind of like dig your knuckle right in there. So I
Mom,
Get in there. And Mom finally was like,
and then she starts coming out of
and then
it.
she started coming out of it. And at that point, yeah, I thought in the first few minutes she kind of gave me like a little wince, but I wasn't quite satisfied with that because her overall demeanor was just not what I wanted. So when I gave her a little bit more, then I knew that she was coming back. Had she not done that, had she not responded to that rub, um, that pain, then we would have declared it. I would have declared it an emergency, and then we would have followed our plan from there. So
Yeah. So she became away. She, of course, didn't know what happened, and but we slept good that night. But the next morning, oh, huh? Can you
Yep.
can you see what you felt?
It's still in there.
Little pain right
Very
there, right?
pain, and I saw her mark in his knuckles.
Knuckle mark.
It's still pain right now,
Yeah.
but at least I'm alive.
Yeah. At least you're alive. So
Thanks to my daughter.
yeah. Yeah. So that was the last emergency here. And we're just, people have asked, do you regret moving here? Not in the least. Now, I will say that, we missed that beautiful warm weather,
I know.
but all in all, you have all the money, you have all the weather, you have all the beautiful things, but you don't have a relationship, with your children, your family.
Yeah.
So,
Just in time for me to come home to save my life.
yeah. So, we don't know what the future holds, but we know we're in good hands, that's for sure. And Andrew's not with us right now. He's not feeling so well, but hopefully he'll be with us
With
in
my
another
beautiful
video.
daughter.
Yeah, got a beautiful
He's a
daughter
pain
here.
in the butt, but I still love her.
Good. That's good.
Let me get that.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So
That's
Gloria's,
okay.
I don't know if you probably have noticed, but she's lost weight, and so, but it's a good thing because she was a little bit overweight. And
Excuse me?
well, I mean,
I'll save Dad. So she had about 15 pounds of water weight, which we had found out when we went to the emergency room. So the weight came on because her heart was not working as strong as it's supposed to. So your heart is supposed to be pumping the fluids out, and then it goes through the system of the kidneys and the heart. So, but it wasn't working very, very well. So, which was the whole reason I brought them here, was so that way in the event something happens, which has already happened, they would be here to take care of. So if she looks thin, it's because she's lost a lot of the water weight. So now she pretty much basically I'm sorry. I make her food. She's on a fluid restriction. She's also on a sodium restriction. So for those of you that are wondering what I'm doing with that, she has to be on a fluid restriction. She has to be on a sodium restriction, a salt restriction. So limitations in order to prevent that water weight coming back and prevent her heart from having to work so hard to push the fluids around it. Because that's what our heart does, is pushes fluids around so they can go through the kidneys and filter out normally. But because she's had high blood pressure and her kidneys don't work, that whole system, that team is not very functional. So
They
yeah,
cannot play basketball now.
they can't play basketball.
get a little vision of that.
Yeah, how'd that go, Mom?
Play basketball.
Uh, so you're hurt. You hurt me.
So yeah.
Okay.
And so that elicit right there, that she elicited that she showed is her kidney pain, which we're working on getting her to the kidney specialist. Here it just takes a little while, but being me, I am working on getting it expedited. Yeah, Mom. Yeah.
Thanks to my kids.
Yeah. Well, we want to appreciate everybody for coming by and hanging with us. I know these videos have been very sporadic, but Oh, life has a lot of ups and downs, roller coaster. So we just want to appreciate you guys sticking with us and stopping by and making comments. I know it's easy to just see a video, maybe you enjoy it, but just kind of move on. And it does take an extra effort just to make a small comment, but it means a lot to us. You know, it really does. And normally I don't like to remind people to thumbs up, but it does help the video, the channel move up in the YouTube algorithms if you show that you like the video and you would like more by hitting that thumbs up button. So, anything more you want to say, Ma?
I'm alive because of my kid,
Yep,
and I thank her for that.
yeah,
And I love her so much.
yeah.
Me too, Mama.
I'm alive because of her.
Okay, everybody, sister.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.